Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Arin, and in this video I'm going to explain about Marxist criticism based on the book Critical Theory Today by Louis Tyson. So what is Marxism? Marxism is a belief that the most important thing shaping our lives is the economic system. Things like money, work, and who controls our resources influence everything in society. Beliefs, cultures, politics, religion, education, and art, and even science are all shaped by economic conditions. Because of this, Marxism, it criticizes theories that focus too much on the individual, because they ignore the larger external economic forces that affect everyone. From a Marxist perspective, understanding events or cultural products like politics, art, or TV shows, it requires looking at the material conditions, how people lived, who held the wealth and the power, and how the economy was organized. Marxism, it sees society as divided mainly by class, especially between those who own resources and those who must work to survive, since economic power, it shapes who benefits and who struggles more than differences like race, religion, or gender. Marxism also argues that ideas matter only when they lead to real action, and that change happens through collective efforts, like voting, striking, or boycotting, which can challenge the existing power structures. In the US, class does not always follow traditional Marxist ideas. Some workers earn more than small business owners, and the term middle class is used very broadly. Because of this, it is often better to look at class based on people's lifestyles, stability, and access to resources, not just their income. From this view, society can be grouped into the poor and homeless, who struggle to survive, the middle class, who live fairly comfortably but still face financial stress and job insecurity, and the wealthy, who live in comfort and are protected from the economic problems. The poor, they rarely challenge the system because they are too focused on surviving, while the government power and common beliefs make the inequality seem normal and it discourages resistance. On top of that, the government power, such as the police forces, has historically been used to suppress workers and the poor when they are seen as a threat. Even more powerful than force, however, are the ideas and beliefs that make the inequality seem normal. These ideas, they discourage resistance and help keep the existing power structures in place. Now, the role of ideology. Marxism sees ideology as a set of beliefs shaped by the society we live in. These beliefs influence how we see the world, what feels normal, and what we think is right and wrong. Ideas about politics, religions, success, science, and even morality are all shaped by ideology, so no one is completely free from it. Some ideologies are harmful because they support unfair systems of power. They often hide by pretending to be natural or to be common sense. For example, ideas like men are naturally better leaders are not facts, but beliefs that benefit certain groups. When beliefs seem natural, people stop questioning them. Marxism openly admits that it is an ideology. It encourages people to see how beliefs are shaped by history and economics, and how these beliefs are used to protect the power of the wealthy. One example is classism. This belief says that a person's worth depends on their social class. People at the top are seen as naturally better, like more smarter, more responsible, and more moral, while people at the bottom are seen as lazy or incapable. Because of this belief, it feels normal for wealthy people to control leadership and decision-making, even though it is socially taught. Another example is patriotism. Often seen as love for one's country, this can be used to convince poor people to fight wars against other poor people from different countries. Meanwhile, the wealthy people on all sides benefit financially from the war and avoid the real danger. Religion can also function this way. Marxism is less concerned with whether God exists, and more with how religion is used socially. Religious teachings often encourage the poor to accept hardship quietly, promising rewards in the afterlife instead of justice in the present. While many religious groups genuinely help the poor, certain teachings have historically been used to justify slavery, inequality, and discrimination, all while protecting the interests of the wealthy people. Finally is consumerism. It teaches people to judge their worth by what they buy. It makes them believe that owning expensive or trendy items make them equal to the rich. But in reality, it benefits corporations, it keeps people in debt, and creates the feeling of success without changing the real societal inequality. From a Marxist view, many beliefs in capitalist society quietly support those in power, and the job of Marxist criticism is to uncover them. This kind of analysis looks closely at culture, especially things like movies, TV shows, books, music, advertisements, and entertainment, to see what ideas they promote and whose interests those ideas serve. Culture cannot be separated from the economic system that produces it. And entertainment is especially powerful because people lower their defenses when they are relaxed and enjoying themselves. Because entertainment feels harmless, it often spreads ideology without people noticing. A joke, a storyline, or a familiar character can send a message about how society works and what we should accept as normal. When social problems are presented in a light or humorous way, they can seem less serious or even normal and natural. For example, when homelessness is shown as something humorous or harmless, it sends the message that it is not a real crisis. It suggests that people who are homeless are fine as they are, or even that they chose that life. This kind of portrayal, it distracts attention from the real economic causes of homelessness and reduces the empathy. Beliefs about success reinforce this way of thinking. If people are taught that hard work always leads to success, then poverty appears to be a personal failure rather than a result of structural problems. This makes it easy to ignore the real obstacles poor people have to face, such as needing a stable address to get a job, suffering from mental health issues, or being pushed into homelessness by government policies and the economic changes beyond their control. So in this way, cultural messages shape how people think about inequality. By hiding or softening the realities of poverty, culture it helps protect the existing economic systems and discourages people from questioning why such suffering exists in the first place. Capitalism also changes how people understand value. Instead of valuing things for their usefulness, value becomes tied to money and market demand. What matters most is how something can be sold for, or how desirable it seems, not whether it is truly needed or fairly priced. Because of this, people begin to treat objects, and sometimes even other people, as commodities. Things are judged by their price or by the social status they give to their owners. People may buy things to impress others or to show wealth, rather than to buy them for practical reasons. This way of thinking encourages excessive consumption and competition. People start measuring success and self-worth through possessions, which weakens genuine human connections and replaces them with status and appearance. From a Marxist perspective, this shows how capitalism can harm human psychology by turning meaningful labor and relationships into transactions, where others are valued for what they provide rather than who they are. Capitalism also depends on insecurity and competition, pushing people to constantly compare themselves and buy products to feel worthy or successful. To keep growing, capitalism spreads through what is called imperialism, where powerful nations control weaker ones for profit. This control often includes shaping how people think, convincing them that they are inferior and need guidance. These ideas are reinforced through culture, media, and stereotypes. Marxism sees literature as something shaped by society, money, and history. Writers are influenced by the world they live in, so their stories naturally reflect these ideas and values of that society, even if they do not plan to. A story can either support those ideas or make readers question them. Often it does both. These ideas are shown not only through what the story is about, but also through how it is written. The form of a story, its style, genre, and structure matters as much as its message. For example, when analyzing a story about a family, a psychological approach might be to focus on the childhood experiences, emotional wounds, or family conflicts. A Marxist approach, however, looks at how economic pressure, consumer culture, competition, job insecurity, and beliefs about success affect the family's relationships and mental health. Marxist criticism may borrow ideas from other theories, such as psychology or feminism, but it always uses them to support its main goal, exposing how capitalism and ideology influence human behavior and culture. It also examines how literature can criticize capitalism while still being shaped by capitalist values at the same time. So, overall, Marxist literary criticism treats literature as a product of its historical and economic conditions. It aims to show how stories reflect, question, or reinforce the power structures and ideologies of the society in which they were created. So that is all for my explanation of Marxist criticism based on the book Critical Theory Today by Louis Tyson. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.